There was a sense of hopelessness on Masisea Tipishca. The river had invaded many of their homes and most of their corn and rice fields. The banana trees, gone. Bananas and other fruits are an important source of food for them. The fruit they do not eat can be sold for a few centavos to purchase necessities. Most of them had only fish to eat. Many had fled to Pucallpa for safety and food. Many were sick from the water. The smell of sewage was in the air as the floodwaters released the sludge from the latrines. Snakes sought refuge from the water in their houses. How could we possibly do ministry here? I had thousands of dollars invested in this mission trip and a team en route to do the ministry, but I saw no way to make it work. But I had been there before. I had seen God handle what seemed to be insurmountable obstacles on these mission trips. I knew this had not taken God by surprise. No reason to panic. Just do what Jesus said. Ask and it shall be given you. So I simply asked, God, how are you going to do this? I suspected He had a solution in hand, but I just didn't know what. I saw no way to provide meaningful help or ministry. But a plan began to emerge. To Masisea kept telling me that the villages needed food badly. I began to see an opportunity to teach them about the love of Jesus in an extremely effective way. We could take food to every village. Maybe we could have service on the boat since there was no land on which to work. A makeshift tent could be raised on the front of the boat. We could build a special light box on the front of the boat to house the projector screen so that we could show videos even in the middle of the day. We could do dramas and hygiene teaching. We could preach and teach about Jesus, all on the front of the boat. All I needed was $200 per village, but where would the money come from? I just didn't have it, and I knew that food was the key to the whole operation. The giving of the food would open them up to the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ and to the ministry of South American Call in the months to come. I decided to just borrow the money and buy the food. We would go to each and every village with the food and the love of Jesus. I believed that this was God's plan. Having made the decision, I went back to the hotel to put out an update and make phone calls. To my utter surprise, God already had the money waiting. It was just a matter of collecting it. We were now equipped and ready to do business for the King. In most of the villages, the routine was basically the same. We would visit with the chief and tell him why we were there. He would bring his people to the boat. Then the ministry would begin. Not every village was handled exactly the same, but the essentials were the same. Roxy taught hygiene. Bobby worked with the chlorine generators, training people on the lake to operate the equipment. We showed a Bible story of the entire Bible, shared the dramas of the birth, life, death, and resurrection of Jesus. We preached to them and gave altar invitations. We prayed for them in the altar services. We gave treats to the children, including a little salvation Bible, crayons, candy, that sort of thing, and full-size Bibles to the adults. We gave away eyeglasses. The last thing we did in each village was to give each family a packet of food: beans, rice, sugar, salt, oatmeal, tuna, and cooking oil. The last village we worked was new to me. In fact, I did not know it was there. It sat back off the lake about 2 miles or so. In normal times, you could have walked to the village, but not now. It was badly flooded. This was the worst we had seen. We found the village chief and told him that we had food for his people. We told him we needed the people to come to the big boat to receive it. They had no way to transport all of the people to the Evangelista, so we took our speedboat in to help them. We worked our way through the jungle and got stung several times by wasps. As we neared, we could hear cattle lowing and smell the stench of raw sewage. The whole village was underwater. They had brought their animals into their houses to keep them from dying. We saw goats and hogs and cows in people's houses. We only saw 1 or 2 spots of land. The rest was underwater. Just a few hours earlier, not even these little spots were visible. The chief called out to everyone to either come to our boat or use their little boats to come get food. He waited out to his family and brought them back. We took them to the large boat and helped them with the food and a brief teaching about Jesus. This people will remember for many years the gringos who came to help them. The plan that God gave us worked to perfection. Over 400 asked Jesus into their lives. The people on the lake know us. They see us as friends now, and they're looking for us to come back in July. They will be waiting for us. They will be receptive to the message. Jesus has come to the villages of Masisea Tipishca. God has placed a new man in this ministry in Peru. His name is Jose. He has been taught in the school of Christ. In fact, he has gone through this school twice. He, along with Juan, will be going back to the lake several times before we return in July to begin the process of organizing the believers in every village. He will encourage one or two from every village to be in our School of Christ International class following the July trip. Jose and Juan will be conducting the class. July will be our last trip to this lake in the large boat. We may, from time to time, send Jose and Juan there to encourage and strengthen, but our main thrust will end when the School of Christ is over in July. We will have preached the gospel message in every village, taught hygiene in all of them, and offered leadership training to people from every village. We will have organized church groups in every village that desires one. Lake Tipishca will never be the same. Jesus lives in the hearts of hundreds of these people. What's next? Well, you know, I've heard of a couple of lakes a little further down the river, a little deeper in the jungle. Lakes where there are villages with people who do not know Him. People who are eternity bound and know not Jesus Christ as their personal Savior. Stay tuned.